Hello and welcome back to our Lord of the Rings LCG solo progression series. And today's quest is the nightmare version of the Hunt for Gollum, which was the first adventure pack in the Shadows of Mirkwood cycle. A quick reminder, in this series we're playing through each quest in chronological order of the game's initial release, and we'll only be using player cards that were available at the time of this quest release. I'm calling this deck I Was Not Gentle because of this quote by Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings. Whenever he was referring to having hunted for Gollum and captured him, he said, "Lurking by a stagnant mere, peering in the water as the dark eve fell, I caught him, Gollum. He was covered with green slime. He will never love me, I fear, for he bit me, and I was not gentle." And so it's appropriate that we have Aragorn included in this deck. We'll use his refresh action kind of early to keep from engaging any hunters from Mordor. Merlande is a new hero to the channel. She came out in the Druadan Forest Adventure Pack. She's a lore hero, Sylvan traded, 8 threat, 2 willpower, 2 attack, 1 defense, and 3 health. And her ability says each hero you control with a printed lore resource icon gets -1 threat. So instead of our 25 starting threat, which would be based on the printed threat of each of these heroes, we're bumped down to 23. And 23 is a number that would be our starting threat in reference to Aragorn's refresh action. This can be a little bit of a lengthy quest, some things to talk through, so let's get to the quest and see how we do. Okay, we'll look at our opening hand. It is not good at all. Let's go ahead and mulligan this hand. Much, much better. That's a great hand. Just about perfect, actually. Okay, so because of Merlande, we lower our threat by 2. 1 threat reduction for each lore hero you control. So she's obviously great in a mono lore. All right, here is the Nightmare card for the Hunt for Gollum. Let's look at that in a minute. Let's just jump straight to 1A. The hunt begins. Gandalf has requested your assistance in the search for the elusive creature known as Gollum. Your search begins in the Anduin Valley between Mirkwood Forest and the Misty Mountains. For setup, reveal 1 card per player from the encounter deck and add it to the staging area. All right, that card's going to be, there we go. We have a clue, a Signs of Gollum. These are very important cards for this quest. This is guarded, meaning we have to reveal another card, an encounter card, and attach Signs of Gollum to that card. Okay, the card will be Goblin Town Scavengers. When revealed, discard the top card of each player's deck until the end of the phase, which would be until the end of the resource phase during setup. Increase Goblin Town Scavengers' threat by the total printed cost of all discarded cards in this way. It won't really matter, but the card we discarded was a Burning Brand. Okay, so we reveal our card, and it says you make your way along the banks of the Anduin River, a likely place for Gollum to find food, forced. After the player's quest successfully, the first player looks at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, reveal and add 1 of those cards to the staging area, and discard the other 2 cards. All right, so let's talk about a few things related to this quest. First of all, this forced effect is probably the most, like, this drives us in a specific strategic direction, because when we quest successfully, we're penalized for that. And, you know, eventually once you have your board state set up, it doesn't really matter. But during the first few rounds, we just do not want to quest successfully. So a lot of times when you choose to not quest successfully, you're going to use Denethor or Hinnomarth, but we're punished for looking, with quotation marks around it, the keyword look, looking in the encounter deck. Because in this deck, there's a Ravenous Hawk. Let's look at that enemy. There's 3 of them. And, you know, not too bad once you get things going, but first couple of rounds, when you don't have allies out and such, this is a real bummer. Forced, when a card effect instructs a player to look at cards in the encounter deck, and Ravenous Hawk is among those cards, that player must put Ravenous Hawk into play, engage with him. And this does not satisfy the forced effect of stage 1B or 2B. So if I quested successfully on stage 1, then obviously that happens at the beginning of quest resolution, right before placing the progress. So you have to look at the top 3 cards, you reveal 1, other 2 are discarded. However, if one of those 3 is 1 or even 2 or 3, God forbid, ravenous hawks, all revealed, or all ravenous hawks that were looked at in that action are put into play, engaged with you. And so that can be really difficult to overcome, especially if we have like one of these guys come out, a hunting warg. So things can go really south pretty quickly. So we will not quest successfully just so that that doesn't ever happen, at least just the first few rounds. All right, so there's that to think about. When you do quest successfully, that's how you grab a Signs of Gollum, which you need at least one to win the game. After the players quest successfully, the players may claim Signs of Gollum if it has no attached encounter. So right now there is an attached encounter. It is the Goblin Town Scavengers. And so we have to destroy Goblin Town Scavengers. Signs of Gollum will go into the staging area unattached. We quest successfully at some point, having to deal with a forced effect. And also that's how we grab Signs of Gollum. Now, one caveat is this card, the Nightmare card here, tells us that there's a forced effect. At the end of the refresh phase, choose an unclaimed clue card not attached to a Mordor enemy and attach it to a Mordor enemy if able. So this Goblin Town Scavengers is actually not a Mordor enemy. The enemies that are Mordor type are these 5 hunters from Mordor and then these 2 hunting wargs. And so one of them has to be in play for this to happen, but even if there's one, there can be multiple Signs of Gollum. But at the end of every refresh phase, there's 4 Signs of Gollum. At the end of every refresh phase, any of these that are not attached to a Mordor enemy are detached and attached to the Mordor enemy, unless we own it. If we have it claimed, that does not count. If there are, at any point, if there are 4 or more clue cards attached to the Mordor enemies, the players lose the game. So we'll just have to make sure that doesn't happen. Again, at the end of the refresh phase, if there's a Mordor enemy in play, this is going to be disengaged from its guardian card and attached to that Mordor enemy. So those are a few things to think about, and that's going to be a big piece of the decisions we make. These early decisions are really fun and interesting. So resource phase. All right, I think the most important card to put out, honestly, since we're about to deal with a Goblin Town Scavenger, just to keep us from discarding our hand, let's go ahead and play Burning Brand. So Burning Brand will help us to cancel shadow effects, and there's actually 2 cards in this deck that's shadow effect is discard your hand if you do not control a Signs of Gollum, a clue card. And so since we're going to have Goblin Town Scavenger attacking us this round, let's just assure we don't lose our hand. All right, I can't do anything with Glorfindel's resource. All right, so during questing, I'm not going to commit any characters because I do not want to quest successfully. There's only 1 threat in staging. His threat boost only lasted until the end of the phase, which means it went away after the resource phase. So I don't want to quest with anybody, and this is purposeful. Our threat will go up for a couple of rounds until we get things going, and then we can use Aragorn's refresh action when we are ready. But for now, we're not going to quest. Let's see what we get. It is Dark Pools. Progress cannot be placed on Dark Pools while it is in the staging area. And so, like if I have Asphaloth out, I can't do anything about Dark Pools while it's in staging. Okay, we were unsuccessful in the quest. Our threat goes up by 4. During the travel phase, we're going to take advantage of this. Forced, after Dark Pools becomes the active location, each player must discard an ally with the highest printed cost among the allies he controls. So in some games, this never leaves the staging area. Like if I had played Master of the Forge, I would not want to travel here right now because I wouldn't want to discard Master of the Forge. I don't control any allies, and so I can travel here. It's not a travel effect, so it's not required that I destroy an ally, but it's a forced effect. So we'll travel here, getting that 3 threat out of staging, and after this becomes the active location, each player must discard an ally with the highest printed cost among the allies he controls. All of our allies are 2-cost allies, or even 1. Okay, so during the encounter phase, we will have a Goblin Town Scavengers attacking us for 1. He's going to get a shadow card. We're going to defend with Aragorn. So 2 against 1. And Shadow says remove 1 progress token from the current quest. 3 progress tokens instead if this attack is undefended. And I don't have to, but if I needed to, I could cancel this shadow with a burning brand just by, in response, exhausting it. So an effective defense, and now 3 and 2 means we destroy Goblin Town Scavenger. Just Glorfindel can do that. So when we destroy Goblin Town Scavengers, Signs of Gollum is now unattached. It moves to the staging area unattached. So this stays here until we quest successfully. That's how we'll grab it. Okay, so that's it for this round. Refresh. And at the end of the refresh action, right at the end of the refresh phase, we are told to attach any clue cards in play to a Mordor enemy that's in play. But we can't, so we don't have to do that. Next round. All right, so really good to see a good harvest. Let's play a good harvest and name leadership as our chosen sphere. And so we can spend resources of any sphere until the end of the phase. We're in planning on leadership. Let's spend 2 resources from Glorfindel's pool to pay for Steward of Gondor and attach it to Aragorn. We'll exhaust it to gain 2 resources. And then let's go ahead and let's play Master of the Forge. And now we can exhaust him. Action. Exhaust Master of the Forge to search the top 5 cards of your deck for any 1 attachment and add it to your hand. Then shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Okay, so the attachment we're going to grab is this Ancient Madam. And we'll shuffle our deck. And then we will go ahead, rather than, well, let's go ahead and put out Asvaloth. We'll spend 2 resources to play Asvaloth. We'll attach it to Glorfindel because Glorfindel's a better target for Asvaloth. It's his horse. Exhaust Asvaloth to place 1 progress token on any location, 2 tokens instead, if the attached hero is Glorfindel. Okay, I'm not going to commit anybody to the quest because I still do not want to quest successfully. If I do, I grab Signs of Gollum, but I'm still not ready to deal with his forced effect in my mind. Like, for instance, if a Ravenous Hawk comes out, I don't have the ability to defend with Aragorn and then attack back and destroy because I would only have 5 attack. So let's reveal. Okay, a Hunters from Mordor comes out. Hunters from Mordor gets +2 attack and threat for each clue card in play. And so there is a clue card in play. And we are unsuccessful in the quest. Threat goes up by 4. Okay, during the travel phase, we have nowhere to travel. And I don't want to get rid of dark pools quite yet. I'm going to wait 1 round. You'll see why, but we will not clear dark pools. We could with Asvaloth. I put out Asvaloth mostly just in case another location came out that and I felt like I needed to clear dark pools and then travel to that new location. But all right, during the encounter phase, I can optionally engage Hunters from Mordor. I'm just underneath this engagement cost, but I don't want to do that because if I defend, I'm ready to defend this 4 attack against 2 defense. But I get 2 damage on Aragorn. I'd be guaranteed to cancel any shadow effect. But I can't attack back for 8 because Aragorn doesn't yet have an unexpected courage. So the plan is for him to defend against the Hunters from Mordor, and then ready, and then 3, 3, and 2 is enough attack to destroy a Hunters from Mordor. So for now, I'll leave Hunters from Mordor stranded in staging. Refresh. And then there's this forced effect at the end of the refresh phase. Choose an unclaimed clue card not attached to a Mordor enemy and attach it to a Mordor enemy if able. And we are able, so it attaches to Hunters from Mordor. If it had been guarded, we would detach it from the guarded card and it would rip it away from that and put it on the Mordor enemy. If at any point there are 4 or more clue cards attached to Mordor enemies, players lose a game. All right, so next round. Actually, during the refresh action window, let's go ahead and use Aragorn's refresh action. It's not very normal to do this in round 2, but I still just don't want to have to deal with the Hunters from Mordor. So I'm going to use Aragorn's refresh action during the refresh action window. So actually technically before this forced effect. But it says reduce your threat to your starting level, limit once per game. We're going to go down to 23. And I'll indicate with a time marker that he's done that. So next round. So in order, refresh action was in the refresh action window, and then this was at the end of the refresh phase. Okay, so Steward of Gondor, Master of the Forge is going to grab us let's go ahead and grab an Unexpected Courage and shuffle the deck. Okay, we're going to spend a resource from Glorfindel's pool to play Ancient Madam and attach it to Dark Pools. And now we're going to exhaust Asphaloth to put 2 progress on Dark Pools. We can't put progress on Dark Pools while it's in the staging area, but as the active location we can. So this leaves play, and when it does, in response, we'll draw 3 cards because of Ancient Madam. And then we'll spend a resource from Merlan's pool to pay for Mithrander's Advice. Draw 1 card for each hero you control with a printed lore resource icon, so 2 cards. And then let's go ahead and play Master of the Forge. The second one, we have 2 in the deck. Exhaust Master of the Forge to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and grab any attachment. I think probably Ranger Spikes would be the priority over Celebrian Stone at this point. But with the 2 Masters of the Forge, we'll be able to get Celebrian Stone pretty quickly. And then let's go ahead and spend a resource to pay for Mithrander's Advice, drawing 2 cards. There we go. Okay, so we're well on our way with card draw. Okay, we do have 4 threatened staging, so we can quest with, let's do it with Merland. I want to leave Aragorn ready in case we have like a Hunters from Mordor. Not Hunters from Mordor, but a Warg, whatever the heck that thing's called. The Hunting Warg, I think. So if I have a Hunting Warg, I can defend with Aragorn and then attack back. So I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that our threat is so low, we're not going to commit anybody to the quest. We're going to reveal. There it is, Hunting Warg. So our threat goes up by 5. We were unsuccessful in the quest. During travel, nowhere to go. So since we're unsuccessful, we don't have to do the forced effect. During the encounter phase, here comes Hunting Warg. However, Hunters from Mordor is higher than our threat. So it is going to attack for 3. We'll defend with Aragorn, 3 against 2. And it says Shadow, if you do not control at least 1 hero with a clue card attached, return this enemy to the staging area. Let's cancel that with a Burning Brand. And now we can attack for 3 and 5 and destroy Hunting Warg. And this is important because this forced effect says at the beginning of the refresh phase, if Hunting Warg entered play this round, search the encounter deck and discard pile for 1 copy of Hunters from Mordor and add it to the staging area. That can be real tough to overcome another Hunters from Mordor at this point in the game. So there's 2 of these guys left. We'll just sort of keep that in our mind that there's 1 more in the deck somewhere. Refresh. And the refresh, the forced action here, or the forced effect, doesn't apply because there's no unattached Signs of Gollum. So next round, let's exhaust Steward of Gondor, and let's grab some attachments. Master of the Forge will grab us Light of Valinor. That'll help us to keep our threat low. And then this Master of the Forge will grab us this Ancient Madam. We'll shuffle our deck. And let's go ahead and attach Light of Valinor to Glorfindel. So now we can quest with him, and that'll offset to some degree this threat in staging. And then just in case we have another enemy come out, let's put out another, or our first Ranger Spikes. We'll put it into play, and it says put it into the staging area unattached. Next enemy that comes out is ensnared by Ranger Spikes. Its threat goes down by 2. So I have 2 resources left on Aragorn, and I want to save them for now. I can't pay for Spirit yet or for Leadership, so I definitely need to get a good, is it called Good Harvest, I think? Why am I blanking? Yeah, a Good Harvest. I need to get a second copy of that. All right, so we will quest with Glorfindel. He does not exhaust a quest. And I don't want to send either Aragorn or Merlin because I might be successful in the quest. We reveal the trail goes cold. What this wants to do is attach to the active location. There isn't one. It says at the bottom, if the trail goes cold, does not attach to a location as a result of this effect, it gains surge. So that card's going to surge into Old Wives' Tale. When revealed, discard one resource from each hero's resource pool, if able. Exhaust any hero that could not discard a resource from its pool. So we'll spend a resource from Aragorn's pool and exhaust Merlin and Glorfindel. And our threat went up by 1. That's not at all a bad result. We're still not worried about this Hunters from Mordor engaging us. We're still not questing successfully. All that is by design. Refresh next round. Okay, so Master of the Forge grabs us another Celebrian Stone. And this Master of the Forge grabs us this Blood of Numenor. Okay, Steward of Gondor. Let's attach our single copy of Blood of Numenor to Aragorn. This can be attached to a Gondor or Dunedain hero. Aragorn is both Dunedain because of his trait, but then Steward of Gondor gives him the Gondor trait. So we can use him as a more effective defender. That coupled with Burning Brand, he's going to be very helpful moving forward. Don't want to put out another Ranger Spikes. Don't want to play the Amphalos Herdsman. I cannot play any spirit cards. Well, I can spend one resource from Glorfindel's pool, but I don't need to. I need to save them up. Can't pay for leadership yet. So we'll quest just like last round with Glorfindel. He does not exhaust a quest. We reveal a Signs of Gollum. Okay, so that means that this Hunters from Mordor is boosted even more. So we will be having to deal with an attack from a Hunters from Mordor. Okay, Signs of Gollum is going to be guarded by the West Bank. All right, and so our threat goes up by 6. So, you know, if I had some ability, like if I had Celebrian Stone out, right now is how Aragorn gets Spirit. I wish that I could play Galadrim's Greeting to lower my threat, or even Elrond's Counsel to keep from engaging this Hunters from Mordor, but I haven't been able to avoid that. Okay, so during the travel phase, while the West Bank is the active location, attachment and event cards cost 1 additional matching resource to play from hand. I don't want to deal with that, so let's just quest, or let's exhaust Asfaloth to put 2 progress on the West Bank. And now it's finally time, 5 rounds in, we have a Hunters from Mordor attacking us, which Aragorn's can just barely survive this. He's going to be attacking for 6. He's boosted by quite a lot. So 6 against 2, Aragorn will defend. And let's see what we get here. Now, I should have actually put out a Amphalos Herdsman. However, again, I don't want to discard my hand, and I don't control a clue card. So, but next round I should put out an Amphalos Herdsman in case I need to chump. Okay, so 6 against 2. Shadow says damage from this attack must be applied to a hero you control with a clue card attached to Fable. If I needed to, I could cancel that with a Burning Brand. So 6 against 2 means 4 damage. So Aragorn can just barely take that. And we don't have an Unexpected Courage, unfortunately. Oh, wait. I have Dunedain, Blood of Numenor. So let's actually use Blood of Numenor. 6 against 2, and then Blood of Numenor action. Spend 1 resource from attached hero's resource pool to give attached hero +1 defense for each resource in its resource pool until the end of the phase. So he's got +3 defense. So this is 6 against 5. And so just 1 damage on Aragorn. And I don't have Unexpected Courage, or else I could ready Aragorn, then attack for a total of 8. As it is, I'm attacking for 5. 5 against 2 is going to be 3 damage on Hunters from Mordor. Okay, at the end of combat, Shadow card is discarded. Refresh. And then this refresh action, or forced effect, why do I keep saying refresh action? At the end of the refresh phase, choose an unclaimed clue card not attached to a Mordor enemy, and attach it to a Mordor enemy if able. And so I have to do that. So there's 2 clue cards attached to this Hunters from Mordor. Next round. Okay, Master of the Forge is going to just whiff here. We'll use Steward of Gondor. I need to draw some cards. So let's play Gleowine. We'll exhaust Gleowine to draw a card. I just need a good harvest really badly here. What I could maybe do to get things going here is let's put out a Ancient Matham and attach it to West Bank. We'll exhaust Asphaloth to explore West Bank, and so we'll draw 3 cards. Remember, we can't, we can pay for Spirit, but only with Glorfindel's resource pool at this point. So if another Hunters from Mordor comes out, I'm not worried because this Ranger Spikes keeps it from attacking us. So I think the way to go is I don't really need to put out an Amphalos Herdsman. I'm just going to defend with Aragorn once again against this Hunters from Mordor. Then I can attack and destroy it. So let's use Master of the Forge to grab this sword that was broken, which I can't quite buy. All right, so we're going to see our threat go up again. Yep, I can, if I need to, play Test of Will, so that's good. Let's quest with Glorfindel. Did I send Glorfindel on the quest last round? I feel like maybe I forgot to. Where is the last round? Start a new round. Committed Glorfindel, yeah. Okay, so I did commit him. Okay, so we will reveal Massing at Night. When revealed, reveal X additional cards. Wait, why am I questing with Glorfindel? I don't need to because I don't want to make progress. When revealed, reveal X additional cards from the encounter deck. X is the number of players in the game. I could get a little bit of a tempo boost here by canceling that. I think I'm going to. Let's play Test of Will to cancel that. And that way nothing comes out. And I made no progress. Did not quest successfully. And so the force effect doesn't fire. And here's Hunters from Mordor attacking for 6 against Aragorn's 2. Shadow effect. This is why you have to have Burning Brand. This says if you do not control at least 1 clue card, discard all cards from your hand. No thanks. Let's cancel that with Burning Brand. And we'll also use the action on Blood of Numenor to add 5 defense to Aragorn's 2. So 6 against 2, Aragorn defends that. And now we attack for 3 and 2. That's 5 against 2. We've destroyed our first Hunters from Mordor. And so now we have 2 unclaimed, unattached Signs of Gollum. And we'll refresh. And at the end of the refresh phase, there's no Mordor enemies in play. I just wanted to make sure I had to use both Masters of the Forge. I did. Next round. Okay, Gleowine. Let's see. Let's use the Masters of the Forge and thin out any attachments. That'll just give us a better chance to get a good harvest. And now we will hope Gleowine can get us a good harvest. Not yet. So all these leadership cards are just unavailable to us at this point. So we stalled out a little bit. Can't play an Unexpected Courage. There are 3 I have 3 Masters of the Forge in this deck. I just don't think it's worth putting out a third one. And I don't want to quest. I'm still not ready to quest successfully. If I do, I'd rather just quest past this all at once. So I want to get out all the Aether Swordsmen. So I'm just going to be okay. We'll lower our threat momentarily. We're not going to commit anybody. We reveal one of these guys. Watch him discard a good harvest. So when revealed, discard the top card of each player's deck until the end of the phase. Increase Goblin Town Scavenger's threat by the total printed cost of all cards discarded by this effect. Okay, it's a Galadrim's Greeting, which I think I have 2 of those, or 3. Yep, we're fine. Okay, so threat went up by 3. So he actually is a 4 threat enemy minus 2. He should actually be at 2 total, and so our threat goes up by 2. And then at the end of the phase, his threat goes to -1. And so I don't have to worry about engaging him because of Ranger Spikes. So just skip over the travel phase. And during the encounter phase, I won't optionally engage him. He does not make engagement checks. No advantage to us for putting up with this. So refresh next round. Okay, that's a missing piece. We haven't had Daron's Runes. I think we're about to pretty much draw our hand here. Let's see if I can thin out the deck with Masters of the Forge. No, I think we're pretty much done. Let's draw a card with Gleowine. And now I much needed Daron's Runes. Drawing 2 cards and discarding this sword that was broken. But still no good harvest. Goodness. We'll put out another Ranger Spikes just to protect us. The only thing that could be a problem for us maybe would be our threat going up, but you know, we're fine. We still have Elrond's Councils, etc. I just can't play Celebrian Stone yet. Once I do, Aragorn becomes really useful. I can spend all of his resources on Spirit. I also could spend his resources on Leadership if I have a sword that was broken. So I just need 1 good harvest. That is the missing piece. All right, so no threat in staging. We won't commit anybody to the quest because we don't want to quest successfully. We reveal the trail goes cold, and so that just surges into flooding. Doomed 1, and it surges when revealed. Remove all progress tokens from all Riverland locations in play. No progress. Okay, here is a Ravenous Hawk. Just revealed the old way, so it doesn't engage us, but it's engaged or ensnared by Ranger Spikes, so it's stuck up here, and we did not quest successfully. We will refresh and move on to the next round. There's still no Mordor enemies in place, so the Signs of Gollum are just sitting there unattached. Okay, any attachments in our deck? I don't think so. Yeah, we're done with attachments. Gleowine. Goodness. I cannot get a good harvest here. Let's go ahead and put out another Ranger Spikes. And if needed, you know, I can just lower my threat by like crazy with Elrond's Council and even with Galadrim's Greeting, because Glorfindel now has 3 resources. No advantage to us playing any of these allies yet, because there is a location that comes out and its threat is equal to the number of allies in play. So we're not going to quest with anybody. Once again, we're not committing anybody. We reveal Ravenous Hawk, and so once again, a Ravenous Hawk is ensnared by a Ranger Spikes, and so it doesn't do anything. We quested neither successfully or unsuccessfully. Refresh. No Mordor enemies in play. Next round. Still no a good harvest. Come on, Gleowine. What is happening here? And I don't have Daron's Runes. How many Daron's Runes have I played? So I still have 2 Daron's Runes, 2 good harvests, and 1 Mithrander's Device. So like all the card draws is in the very bottom, all the stuff that I need. But that'll be kind of fun. Next round we'll have this really explosive turn. Can't play my Leadership. I can play some Spirit, but I'm just going to wait a little bit. I'll just wait till next round, I guess. Well, now we do have, let's go ahead and spend 2 resources from Glorfindel's pool to put out Unexpected Courage. And that way, if we have a Hunters from Mordor come out, we can ready Aragorn and destroy the Hunters from Mordor. And if we need to, we can lower our threat with Elrond's Council. Right now, we're not committing anybody. We reveal Old Ford. It's going to be a threat of X. X is the number of ally cards in play. I have 3. But after the staging during that action window, let's exhaust Asfaloth to put 2 progress on the Old Ford. It leaves play. So once again, we've not quested successfully, haven't quested unsuccessfully. Do we have any attachments left? Nope. Refresh. Well, I'm hoping this is the round. Okay, it's gonna be. It has to be. Come on, Gleowine. There we go. Good Harvest. The missing link. Okay, let's play a Good Harvest to name leadership. And we'll spend 3 resources, 1, 2, and 3, to put out the sword that was broken. And this gives this Aragorn a leadership resource icon. And it also gives all of our characters +1 willpower. And we still have, because of a Good Harvest, the ability to spend all of our resources on leadership. Let's put out Celebrian Stone using Glorfindel's resources. So now Aragorn has 2 restricted attachments, Celebrian Stone and a Burning Brand. So this gives Aragorn +2 willpower, and he has a spirit resource icon. So now he has spirit and leadership. So we have everything we need. We just needed that Good Harvest. No reason to play Mithrandir's Advice. So this is where we want to quest past the hunt begins. Let's go ahead and put out all 3 of our Aether Swordsmen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll also put out all 3 of our Anphalos Herdsmen. So now we're not worried about, we can quest past everything. So these guys are going to be +3 because there's 3 of them out, plus the boost from Sword That Was Broken, and they all have quite a bit of health, +3 health. And then we're gonna, we're about to quest successfully here. Let's go ahead and put out a second Unexpected Courage. This allows Aragorn to quest and then also to defend and all that. So we're going to quest with Glorfindel, with Aragorn, even with our Masters of the Forge. We're going all out. We're going to leave Merlond ready because the combination of Glorfindel, Aragorn, and Merlond is what you need to destroy a Hunters from Mordor. And let's just go ahead. We won't waste any time. We're going to make 38 progress. Let's play all 3 Elrond's Councils to lower our threat by a total of 9 and boost our willpower by 3. And we will, I'm just going to save these resources just for possibly Blood of Gondor, but pretty soon we'll play the Galadrim's Greetings. We reveal a Restless Hunter's Surges. When revealed, the first player chooses a clue card attached to a hero and attaches it to a Mordor enemy in play, if able. Okay, so Old Wives' Tale says, when revealed, and I need to be careful about this, I forgot about this card. So I want to leave a resource on Glorfindel and Merlond moving forward, so they're not exhausted by this effect. When revealed, discard 1 resource from each hero's resource pool if able. Exhaust any hero that could not discard a resource from its pool. So I do spend a resource from Aragorn's. I should have left 1 on Merlond and Glorfindel because at this point they can't attack, right? Okay, we made 41 progress, and you determine that you've quested successfully at the beginning of the quest resolution step before placing progress. And so I just need to remember the number is 41. So I'm just going to put a little thing here to remember 41. Okay. So I have to do a couple things. First, there's this forced effect after the player's quest successfully. There's a response after the player's quest successfully. Forced effects always come first. So after the player's quest successfully, the first player looks at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, reveal and add 1 to the staging area, discard the other 3. So this is where we don't want to see that Ravenous Hawk. I think there's a third one in here somewhere. Okay, we didn't see it. All right, so if I reveal these, this is going to surge on me anyway. But Mordor, Hunters from Mordor is not so great. I don't want to have to deal with one. However, I could play Galadrim's Greetings, so I don't really care about Hunters from Mordor. This is going to surge, which I don't like, so let's discard these 2 and put Hunters from Mordor into play. We shuffle the encounter deck, I think. Does it say? No, it doesn't. Reveal and add one of those cards to the staging area. Discard the other 2. So we did the forced effect, and then in response to questing successfully, we grab these Signs of Gollums. After the players quest successfully, the players may claim Signs of Gollum if it has no attached encounters. When claimed, attach Signs of Gollum to any hero committed to the quest. We'll put them on Glorfindel, both of them. It can be on, there can, any enemy or even a hero can have multiples of these. So that means we made 39 progress, or 41 actually, because we determined the amount of progress before the quest resolution step. So 41, and by the way, Hunters from Mordor is boosted because there are 2 clue cards in play. So we made 41 progress in advanced. Whoops. So a new terror abroad, the wood was full of the rumor of him, dreadful tales even among beasts and birds. The woodman said there was some new terror abroad, a ghost that drank blood. Got to make 10 progress. Rumors have led you to the eaves of Mirkwood Forest, where the woodmen whisper of a new terror in the night. This forced effect says at the beginning of the quest phase, the first player looks at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck, reveal and add one of those cards to the staging area, discard the others. That'll be at the beginning of the quest phase. Okay, during the travel phase, nowhere to go. I will during this action window in the travel phase. Let's just keep from engaging this Hunters from Mordor. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's play a Galadrim's Greeting to lower our threat by 6. And so we don't have to deal with Hunters from Mordor. I would engage it if Merland and Glorfindel had been ready. But as it is, we'll refresh. And at the end of the refresh phase, we would have to attach any unclaimed clue cards to a Mordor enemy, but we have claimed these ones. So next round, we'll win this in 2 rounds. So Steward of Gondor, and let's play Daron's Runes to draw 2 cards. And let's just think about what we want to do. Again, we want to leave resources on Glorfindel and Merland going forward. And so really, the only thing I might do is play another Galadrim's Greeting. I don't really care about Warden of Healing. I guess just to heal Aragorn up, let's put out 1. Might as well. So we'll quest. But actually at the beginning of the quest phase, before committing characters, this forced effect says at the beginning of the quest phase, the first player looks at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck, reveal and add 1 to the staging area, and discard the other. So hopefully it's not one of them Ravenous Hawks. It's not. So we reveal and add 1. Let's put this in play, the Old Ford. And it's going to be boosted by quite a bit of threat. This is at the beginning of the quest phase, so we're not in an action step here. That threat is going to be X. It's based on the number of ally cards in play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So its threat is 10. Okay, so during the action window, before committing characters, let's just go ahead and get rid of it with Asphaloth. We'll exhaust Asphaloth to put 2 progress on the Old Ford. It's gone. And now we commit characters. We'll leave Merland ready. We'll quest with Aragorn, though, and ready Aragorn. So making quite a bit of progress. We reveal Hunting Warg. All right. And so 33 progress placed on a new terror abroad. So we have cleared a new terror abroad. And so the final stage on the trail, but at the western edge of Mirkwood, the trail turned away. It wandered off southwards and passed out of the Wood Elves' ken and was lost. Gandalf. Okay, we have to make 8 progress to advance. Any player who does not control a hero with at least one clue card objective attached cannot commit characters to the quest. If there are ever no heroes with clue objectives attached in play, reset the quest deck to stage 2B. So the first sentence really kind of only matters in multiplayer, because in solo, it just would say basically if there are ever no heroes with clue objectives attached in play, reset the quest deck to stage 2B. So we do have heroes with the clue attachments. So you don't want to move on to stage 3 until you have a clue. If the players defeat the stage, the players have once again found a true sign of Gollum's passing and won the game. Okay, during travel, nowhere to go. During the encounter phase, we are right underneath Hunters from Mordor. Let's leave it in staging, but we will have to engage Hunting Warg. And he's going to attack for 3. Aragorn defends for 2. And damage from this attack must be applied to a hero you control with a clue card attached. If able, we'll just exhaust Burning Brand. We will spend a resource to boost Aragorn's defense with a Blood of Numenor. So 3 against what is this? 6. So no problem there. We'll ready Aragorn. We don't have to. We can just attack with Merlin and Glorfindel and destroy Hunting Warg. That keeps another Hunters from Mordor coming out. Let's go ahead and heal Aragorn with this Warden of Healing. And we'll refresh and finish up the game. So no unclaimed clue cards next round. I will say you want to generally have, I have 2 clues, so I'm not worried about it, but this card here, I guess we could have a Surge Train, but when revealed, the first player chooses a clue card attached to a hero and attaches it to a Mordor enemy in play, if able. This says if there are ever no heroes with clue objectives. So if I had 1 clue, this could rip that away from me, and then I suddenly have to go back to stage 2. Even after I've committing characters, it's kind of crazy, but that can be kind of nuts. We want to leave a resource on Merlin and Glorfindel for no particular reason, I guess. Let's play a Good Harvest and name Lore, might as well. And we'll put out this Master of the Forge just to get our willpower up. And we will play Warden of Healing. So we've done all that we can do. Let's just quest. There's no effect at the beginning of the quest phase. We just immediately quest. In fact, we're about to win the game, so let's just send Merlin. And we will play Galadrim's Greeting, 1, 2, 3. That lowers our threat by 6. Let's ready Aragorn. And we have a Test of Will if we need. We reveal Hunters from Mordor, which is boosted, +4 threat and +4 attack. And we made 36 progress and won the quest. So there we go. If the players defeat the stage, the players have once again found a true sign of Gollum's passing and won the game. So that's it. That's a quest, and you see you have to just get around Ravenous Hawk. Mostly, again, just the first few rounds. It's not a really terrible enemy, but the first few rounds it can be. And you don't want to have a situation where any of them are revealed through their forced effect. There are times, I guess, I haven't had it happen. There was a moment where I thought, well, this could go south. I forget what it was, but there was one tense moment. But usually we get everything situated before we deal with a Hunters from Mordor attacking us. This was an interesting playthrough in that I struggled to get that second A Good Harvest. I played the first one to get Steward of Gondor online, which was good to do, but then I really struggled to get card draw. Usually I would have gotten a Daron's Runes or a Mithrander's Advice to help with that cause, but we just did not quite see that. But I think Asphaloth kicked butt this particular playthrough, as did Aragorn, and so a lot of things worked well. Just took us a little bit longer maybe than usual. I usually win this, I guess, in 10 or 11 rounds, so this was a little bit lengthier of a playthrough. And our threat was at 27. Can't really complain about that. So that is it. That is the quest, the Hunt for Gollum Nightmare. And so the next quest will be the Nightmare version of Conflict at the Carrack. Looking forward to that, and I really do appreciate you joining me. I hope you have a great day.